Thank you so much, Michael and Leona, for being on my show. I'd like for the both of you to tell us where you are live from right now.
Hello.
Hi.
We are live from County Wexford, which is situated in the southeastern part of Ireland.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for taking your time to talk to me. And what time is it? What's our time difference?
It's 8 p.m. here Friday, so 8 p.m.
Yeah.
8 p.m. and it's noon over here.
So 8 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Bang on.
Have you ever been to California?
Yeah, it's very cold over here at the moment. It's
really? What's the temperature like over there?
-1.
-1 degrees Celsius.
What?
Fahrenheit.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
And there's a wind chill as well, which brings it down to about -6 or 7 at the moment. So not nice outside.
I have never been in those type of conditions before. I have no idea what that even feels like.
Yeah, it's coming from Siberia, so it's kind of a freak change in the winds. So it's bitterly cold. So I'm sure it's much nicer in Pasadena.
Well, it's cloudy here today, but the last 2 weeks have been in the mid 70s. So yeah, but I wouldn't mind having a winter. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, we'd swap with you.
You've been to California before?
Yes, we've been in Pasadena. We were in honeymoon for
2 years ago.
A little over 2 years ago. We were in California, so and we
holla to the California love. And how long did you spend in Pasadena?
We were there 4 days.
Yeah, we were kind of road tripping, like we went as far north as San Francisco and then came all the way back down again. And
you did the whole California trip?
Yeah, so we started in Los Angeles and drove all the way up the coast road up as far as San Francisco. And then
that sounds beautiful.
To Yellowstone?
No, not across to Yellowstone.
The park.
Oh, John Muir Woods, Coastal Redwoods. We had to see that.
But no, the near Pasadena or
You can't remember a honeymoon.
No. The mountainous region.
Oh, Mariposa.
Mariposa.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much. And again, welcome to my show. This month, I dedicated this month to love, and reason being, and I've said it before, my other show is that I'm single and I find it difficult, and because of insecurities of having multiple disabilities myself. I lost my urinary bladder 7 years ago, and because of that, I catheterized through a stoma, the side of my abdomen. I also have a feeding tube. It was really hard for me to walk for a long time. And I just now gaining my strength back and trying to get myself out into the world. And sometimes when I start to feel down and think that I'll never find love, I see people like you and it lifts me up. And if it lifts me up, I know that the both of you are lifting up so many other people. I can tell by your Instagram and just by seeing your awesome smiles. So I'm really curious to know your love story. I'm going to ask you, Michael, a couple questions or a few questions, if that's okay with you.
No problem.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm curious, before meeting your wife, did you ever feel like you wouldn't find love?
I suppose the answer is short. I never really delved too deeply into that kind of thought process. I was like, it happens, it happens. I suppose Leona knows I had maybe a few girlfriends before her as well. So, I didn't really put much pressure on it. So I never really delved too much into whether I would find love or not. But I suppose I was lucky enough to find love, yeah. So
I think that's great. So basically you didn't put all that, like you're saying right now, you didn't put so much pressure on yourself, making your heart more flexible at that point then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I suppose it's a bit different. I acquired my disabilities from a car accident. So I was 19 when that happened. So I suppose maybe my mindset was a bit different coming into being 19.
Yeah, that's very young, 19. What happened in that accident? What happened as a result?
So I was the driver of a car and I skidded on some loose chippings on the road and went into a ditch, and I ended up being I went through the windscreen of a car, ejected from the car, and I fractured T10 in my back, which also caused paralysis from my knees down. I have some feeling down towards the knees, but I can't walk.
And that happened when you were 19 years old?
19, yeah. So I suppose I kind of...
You had a girlfriend at the time?
Yeah, I had a girlfriend at the time as well. So, I suppose that didn't work out, obviously, thankfully for Leona.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, more time for Leona, right. So then,
I'm glad he had a girlfriend during it, before and after. That
right.
kind of support.
But I suppose I came into it then from an able-bodied perspective at the start, and then obviously acquiring disability. So maybe I was a little bit different, that I didn't think too much on the disability. I suppose there was always a fear, maybe, oh God, maybe people will look at me differently being in the chair. But thankfully I haven't experienced too much of that.
Great. So it sounds like you have a really good, healthy spirit. So you feel that after the accident, I mean, did you go through any type of depression or any type of feeling like is this my life forever, or did you just kind of go with it?
No, I definitely, I can't say wasn't down or anything. I was a keen sportsman. I played my a sport that's tradition to Ireland here, called Gaelic football and hurling. So I was big into that. So obviously missing that and realizing I'm never going to be able to play my chosen sport again, that kind of hit me. Just everyday life, walking around, the easy stuff, where you don't know, places not being accessible, and suddenly they're not accessible to you, and you struggle getting into places and all that. So definitely, no, I'm not going to say it didn't hit me, and I'm like, oh, it makes you realize, yes, it's tough and hard, but it could be worse, and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
to live your life. So yeah, I was down for a little bit. I wouldn't say depressed, but I was down. I got back into the swing of things fairly quickly, and I just moved on with life, because I knew I had no other choice.
Right, and that's really the best spirit to have. I understand the not being able to play sport. I mean, because I when I was a little kid, I did martial arts, and then I was doing rock climbing, then I was swimming a lot, and those are all things I can no longer do anymore. So it's like we go through, and I say we, meaning people that have either acquired disabilities or things that they used to do. It's kind of like a grieving process too, like letting that go. Like forever, I have to let that go, but upon letting that go, other doors open up. Have you found yourself being able to do more things or other things that you didn't think you would be doing before?
Yeah, well, I suppose in the first few years of my accident, I was, people are trying to get me involved with the wheelchair basketball, say, and other sports. And I didn't really buy into it at the start, but I said, I'd give it a try. So I got into the wheelchair basketball, and I eventually got to play for Ireland. So,
That's awesome.
I definitely didn't think I'd ever get to represent my country or any shape or form. So yeah, that was cool.
That's a really big accomplishment, actually. That's huge.
Yeah, so look, that was something I definitely wouldn't have thought otherwise, that I'd play for my country. So that was cool. And even wheelchair rugby as well.
Wait, did you just say wheelchair rugby?
Yeah, no, not the farm. You're thinking of murder ball, I think, but we have a wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
We have a different form of it over here in Europe. Sevens rugby is called. So it's like have you ever seen rugby in Europe? No, the rugby game.
I love watching rugby.
Yeah. So it's the wheelchair version of that. So with the oval ball, and you have to get tries and conversions, and also I played that as well. So at international level. So yeah, definitely there are two sports that I picked up and still enjoy.
Do you ever have fears of hurting yourself when you're like physically hurting yourself, or do you feel like what can get worse? Do you feel?
I definitely have fear. Look, like I said, I used to play Ireland's national game, which is hurling. And if you ever get a time, maybe go or YouTube hurling, HURLING. And when you play that game, it's literally you play it with a stick and a small slitter, and the ball is going. It's the fastest field sport in the world. So I played that, so that gets the fear out of you straight away, because there's sticks flying at your head. You've no protection or anything. So no, I definitely, when I played basketball or rugby, I have no fear, because my upbringing playing hurling and football here in Ireland.
That's awesome. That's really inspiring. I really want to check that out. HURLING.
HURLING hurling, yeah.
Okay, so, great. I'll definitely check that out online.
You'll see why fear or playing basketball definitely wouldn't worry you.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I'm a shorty, and I'm always like, I can't play basketball, but if I was in a wheelchair, I'd be the same height as everybody, which would be awesome, right? We're probably the same height right now with you sitting down.
No, you'd actually think that, but wheelchair basketball is actually a classification, so there is still small. I'd be counted as a player. Depending on your disability, you still have massive giants sitting high in chairs. They're like, it'd be 6
Well, then I'll be on your shoulders.
Yeah. So you still, because I wouldn't be that tall either, and I'm still very small playing wheelchair basketball.
Oh my goodness, great. Well, thanks for sharing that. So my next question, how did you meet Leona? How did you meet your wife?
So Leona is originally from the capital of Ireland, which is Dublin, and I'm down in Wexford, which is about 2 hours drive. So again, following my local GA team, they play in Dublin. So I went up to that game, and after the game, we went out. Me and a few of my friends said we'll stay in Dublin. We'll go for a few drinks. Not the cliche Irish thing now.
Right.
We went out,
can't do that right now.
and I was coming out of the pub, about to exit it, and this girl was coming in the door, and I went one way, and she went that same way. So she went, and we played chicken basically with each other in the doorway. And I just
Did
said,
you
sorry.
already eye her at that moment? Did you already look at?
Yeah, I thought she was a nice looking girl. Yeah, I said, it's a pity now she's going there, but that was grand. And
yeah, we did kind of lock eyes a bit, and then he was leaving the pub, so I thought, okay, he's obviously leaving. I'm going in, and I just said to my friend, he was cute.
That's so awesome. Oh my goodness.
But I came back into the pub then after I think I went down to get a shop and something out of the shop. So I came back into the pub maybe 10-15 minutes later. And
did you do that on purpose? To take a second look at Leona?
I can't say I did it on purpose now because my friends were still in the pub, so I was going back into them. But yeah, we ended up chatting to each other in the pub, and yeah, it really went from there. And Leona came down to Wexford a few times after that.
Just to say, we actually have a photograph of that moment of when we first.
You do? Oh man.
We'll upload it on our Instagram probably for Valentine's. But
I'm gonna take a look at that. How awesome is that? And how long ago was that?
Yeah, I'm sitting on his lap.
That is, yeah, she sat on my lap. She got tired. That is 2011, so 10 years this year.
Congratulations, a decade.
Decade, yeah. I survived.
How long did the two of you date before deciding to get married?
4 years.
So 2015 we got engaged, so 4 years, yeah.
Yeah.
4 years of dating, and then 2015 we got engaged, and yeah.
And who popped the question?
We did it the traditional way. So I popped the question. I put a note in a bottle for. We live beside the shore, the sea. So I put a message.
You put a message in a bottle
and left it down.
That's beautiful.
At the shore, and yeah, I brought her down there and said, "Oh, look at that bottle." I think she. You recognized the bottle.
I recognized the bottle because it wasn't like, a bit of litter, like a bottle of Budweiser thrown in the sea by a sailor. It was it was a glass bottle from our kitchen display. I was just so confused. I was like, I kind of think what's happening, but I don't.
You're like, what do you want, a refill? I mean,
somebody robbed our kitchen. What? So yeah, that's how it happened, and it was a full moon as well. So it was really.
I thought it was a great idea.
Wow. There was a full moon as well?
Yeah, really pretty.
So, that's destiny opening the doors for you right there. How beautiful that is. Yeah. And what did the letter say?
It was like a treasure map. So when you get a tea bag and you stain the paper to make it look like Pirates of the Caribbean. And it was just basically this whole like calligraphy writing, just saying, will you marry me? I've been thinking about this for a long time. Loads of question marks,
Yeah.
How far in your relationship did you realize? When did you realize you were in love? Like, this question goes for the both of you.
You go first.
I go first. No, it didn't take too long to maybe a couple of 3-4 months, 5 months maybe, and. Well, with the more, because obviously Leona at the start was living in Dublin and I was in Wexford, which is a 2-hour drive away from each other. So
wow,
it was a little bit of long distance first. And
yeah, it was long distance, like dates, weekends, and things like that.
So Leona would come down maybe every second weekend to stay in Wexford with me, and I drive up to Dublin every second week just to go on a date up in Dublin. So we did see each other, even though it was a bit of a commute. We were seeing each other regularly enough.
Yeah.
But,
so for 4 years, the both of you had that long distance relationship?
No.
Maybe 3 years?
2.
2. Okay, 2.
3 years.
Wow.
3 years.
Sorry. It was roughly
3 years.
3 years. Because I was still living at home and I was doing my master's. So
great.
Yeah, and then my dad passed away. So there's a lot of home stuff. So
yeah,
after that, kind of, when big changes happen in the family, I realized then, you know, Mick was like, would you like to, would we live together, you know?
Try it out, see how we go.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, Leona moved in 2014, so that would have been 3 years after we met.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I mean, he had a puppy at the time. He had a boxer puppy, so I'm not going to say no.
A box of what? I'm sorry?
Yeah, a boxer dog. You know, a boxer puppy.
Oh, a boxer dog. Oh, those are beautiful. They're so cute. Is the doggy still there? Is that Nala?
No, he unfortunately passed away 2 years ago.
Oh.
We had this puppy from when we were dating.
Uh-huh.
I met, his name was Tyson, so I met him literally as a 4-month-old puppy, and
Aw.
he passed away just after our wedding. So it was kind of like he did his job.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, that's
he
beautiful.
had a heart condition, so we knew he'd pass at some stage, but he lived till our wedding, and so it was very important he was in our wedding photos, you know.
Yeah.
So he brought the both of you together. How beautiful that is.
Yeah, and whenever we had fights, he'd always push Michael's wheelchair, like push him out of the way and protect him.
What?
Yeah,
Wow. How darling that is. Oh, I bet you miss him.
Yeah, she took over my dog.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Well, actually, when we're talking about love, I think having kindness towards animals is a big thing for me. I know you have 2 cats. I think Felix is one of them.
Felix and Gatina. I've got 2 cats. I love them. And I would have a dog too if I could, but right now I can't. But I love all animals are beautiful.
Animals, for me personally, is a trait I look for. You know, I think it's very important to be like that, to love
Absolutely.
animals. Something
Absolutely.
kind of a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, it's a deal breaker for me too. It really is.
Yeah. But I didn't really have a aha moment where I was like, I love you. I don't know. I felt like just the minute I saw him, I just was instantly like attracted. And then when you get to know someone and you see how kind they are, the kindness for me and being funny are like the 2 most important things.
That's awesome, Leona. So you were able to see past him being in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a question I was often asked, you know, and
What do you mean? What do you mean it was a question you were often asked? People often asked you, or you asked yourself that?
well, I guess people would say like, oh, the chair, you know, the wheelchair, you know, and yeah, like some part of like the more you look into it, people would say, well, what about the chair, you know?
Sure.
And when people say like, oh, you don't see the chair, well, some people would say, well, you should see the chair. It's part of me. And some people would say, you're so handsome, I don't even see the chair. You know, there's all these different ways that people. So, of course, I saw the chair. You know, I actually kind of was like, well, what's your story? You must have a story to this chair. Intrigued, really. But I mean, maybe this sounds cliche, but like, for me, I just thought this guy is so handsome, and maybe I was so young.
Very handsome.
Yeah, but I was so young at the time. I would say, because maybe my mom and dad were starting worried at the start. If I'm being honest, and Mick knows that. But you know, I was kind of like, what's your point? Like, if you go on a date, you're sitting down. You go to the cinema, you're sitting down. You go to a restaurant, you're sitting down. I just didn't get it. Like, I know, and I'm not to oversimplify being a full-time wheelchair user either.
Yeah.
You know, but at the time, I just didn't really see the big deal, you know.
And you still don't, which is the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, I don't mean to say that in a, I don't see it as a thing, like, you know. I'm trying to.
So I wish there needs to be more Leonas out there. Introduce me to someone, Leona. Do you have a sister?
I do, but she's gay.
Oh my goodness.
You know, like we do have, we call it bad wheelchair days. We do have days where, you know, maybe there's somewhere that's not accessible, you know, and things like that. But that's
meaning like you go somewhere and there's not enough wheelchair access wherever you're going or wherever you're traveling and stuff.
Yeah, but like that's on them. That's not on us. That's on them, you know.
Right.
That's the one thing we did like about LA. It was really accessible. Well, I found it anyway. Really accessible, like the buildings and.
Yeah, I think I will second that. There is a lot of disability accessibility, great access over here for that, which is awesome. I sometimes have a complaint as far as I feel that there needs to be more disability bathrooms, because they don't really have public disability bathrooms. It's like they have like the family bathrooms. But like for me, for instance, or I don't know how you feel going in I don't know what it's like in Ireland, but out here, if you go to a disability bathroom or a bathroom, the disability bathroom is all the way in the back of the bathroom. You know, and I'm always like, shouldn't the disability bathroom be in the front? Like, why? You're already disabled. Why do we have to walk farther back? 300 or whatever, 30 feet down or 10 feet down.
That's very true. We'd actually almost settle for that, because it's non-existent pretty much.
It's not great in
Ireland, Now I know
really?
that's to do with your ADA. I think your Discrimination Act actually can enforce discrepancies. It's quite weak in Ireland.
So we have
sorry to hear that.
With a lot of our building, like say banks and stuff, they're in really old buildings from the 1700s even. So there's protection orders on these buildings. So they're great excuses. Well, we can't alter the building because it's protected.
Yeah, the historical societies.
Yeah, so they can't put ramps and stuff. This is their great excuse.
Well, I think in America, businesses can be fined, for not having accessible features, whereas in Ireland, businesses wouldn't be fined at all.
Do you think that Ireland will do anything in the near future to make things more accessible for disabled people? Or do you think that their laws and their rules are that in stone? I
don't know. Like personally, I think it's getting a little bit better with awareness, and that's where social media is brilliant for bringing that to attention. It has a lot of work to do, but it's systemic, I think, isn't it? It's how the local authorities, I don't know what the American version is having a local authority, but access officers, we need them. It's linked with like the budget, like budgetary compliance, which it shouldn't
funding
be.
And all, but
it shouldn't be.
No. But it's definitely getting a little bit, like I've been in the chair now nearly 16 years, and in those 16 years it definitely has improved.
Good.
Even like my local pubs around there, anytime they're doing renovations now, they're actually putting in thinking of wheelchair toilets, which is
great.
Good.
But it's weird. They ask us sometimes, and I'm like, this is nice, and I'm glad you're asking us, but we're not getting paid to be professional, inclusive engineers. So where are we?
Sure, exactly. Well, maybe you will in the future. You never know.
Well, Mick was studying engineering in first year when he had his accident.
Oh, wow. Maybe that's what you were engineering to do and didn't even realize it. Maybe that's where you need to go.
Maybe.
Open up the doors for others.
Yeah.
So then a question going back to the whole wheelchair, when you were thinking about it, you didn't even see him as somebody in a wheelchair. You just saw him for who he was, which I think is amazing and beautiful. Did you ever feel insecure at all with your wife, Michael, feeling like, oh man, like I can never stand up to do this? Because sometimes I feel like that, like, oh, I can never do this, or I can't get anyone pregnant. Like, did you ever have these feelings, like these oh man feelings with your wife, or did you guys just melt together beautifully the way I see you guys? Synergy, your synergy is awesome.
I suppose never really delved too much into that either. Never.
I don't know.
No, I suppose never. I suppose I'm kind of like, I don't really think too much.
You're making him think.
Oh no, maybe I should stop asking questions.
No, I didn't. There's often things that you can't do that, I don't know, trying to think of more outdoorsy stuff that want to climb big mountains or stuff like that. But I suppose the physical side of things like that, that's not accessible to wheelchair users, like that can be tough. Like even getting onto boats simply, and little things like that are seamless to able-bodied people are always a little bit more of a struggle for someone in a wheelchair. Stuff like that would be hard, but there's always a way of getting around it and doing things. And even now, like even 4 or 5 years ago, we wasn't really able to go out for hikes. Now I bought an attachment for my wheelchair that turns it into a trike, so I can go up most.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I can go up most big hills or stuff now. So we're out and about the whole time now, which is a game changer for us.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
That definitely helped us, I think, to go on hikes and stuff, because sometimes I would be like, oh, I wish Michael could do this with me,
Right.
And I never home and say that, like, you know, like say I walked a dog, I wouldn't be like, oh God, if only, you know, we could do this. I just kind of kept it to myself and be like, oh, whatever, is what it is. But then when the new technology came in, for the clip-on motor for the chair, it gave us a whole new like freedom. Do you know?
That's great. Right now, it's hard to do anything in the snow anyway, right?
Yeah,
for anybody.
Yeah, true. So yeah, technology always helps. Definitely.
Absolutely. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have any kids?
No, just one dog. We have a new arrival 2 years ago. We got a little pup called Nala, a French bulldog. So
yeah,
she's a handful enough. So I don't think the kids, not yet.
Yeah, do you know, it's funny, like, because I think I think we feel like we're still kids ourselves.
I feel that way. I get that feeling.
Yeah, and I think we're in our mid-30s now, and and all our friends are having babies, you know, and but we are. It sounds weird to say this, but I genuinely feel like 21, and and no, I know, but for now, we're both of the same mindset where we're like, if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't. You know, and there's always adoption and fostering and all that as well. We're both kind of back about that. I was actually having this conversation with somebody in work, and the person was really kind, and she didn't mean to say it, but she was like, "Oh, don't worry, Leona. There's other ways of you can foster and all this." And I was saying, "Oh no, it's not that we can't mechanically."
Yeah.
No, because of the chair, you know, like
right.
Yeah, but I just made a joke. I was like, "Oh no, it's not that. You know, it's nice to hang out with kids, but it's nice to hand them back."
Yeah, for sure it is. Oh my goodness.
Is it? I don't know, but you know, Michael's niece and nephews only live next door to us, so
we get our fix.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You know.
So we get our fix that way.
I mean, it probably will happen, but I'm not one of those girls that are like, I need to have a big family. I'm not really into lots of kids. That sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Not at all. I mean, it's everybody's different, and that's what makes this world beautiful. You know, kind of balance it. Everybody balances each other out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not that maternal.
We find it hard enough to look after the dog. It's scary enough to bring a little human into the world. Then.
Do you know what? Yeah, like, you know, being a little bit honest, you know, I guess your freedom is altered when you have a child. That's just
it sure is. It's all about the child after that.
Yeah. And I guess maybe we still want to do a lot of traveling and all that. And
we want to be a bit selfish.
Not to imply that if you have kids you can't travel. You totally can, obviously. But I just think for now we're happy just to obviously wait out COVID, but we'd like to do a few more things just with, you know, ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy yourselves as much as possible, because before you know it, we're going to be at our parents' age, my parents' age, in our 60s. Yeah. Time goes by really fast.
And it's only when you get older you realize how much your parents did for you.
I know.
Yeah, and that's frustrating for me a little bit, because I don't have my dad anymore, and I wish I could say this to him, but it's quite common for people to only realize when they become young parents themselves, or when they just get older, how much our parents did for us.
I think your dad heard that. I think he heard that. Absolutely.
I hope so.
Michael, what kind of advice can you give people like me or other people with disabilities that are single, that feel that they've got these insecurities and that they're not going to find anyone, or overwhelmed? My biggest thing is that I might overwhelm my future person with my ailments. And that's the one thing that I feel that it's always hanging over my head. Like, is this going to overwhelm them? Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, what kind of advice can you give people with disabilities that are single?
I suppose the only advice, I be yourself, and like, once again, I know I keep saying don't think too much on it, because I think if you think too much on it, you'll bog yourself down in the what ifs, and not just go out there and obviously be truthful, and, you know, don't hide anything, probably is the best way forward. But you will find someone that's, you know, understands and will not maybe bat an eyelid at whatever ailment or disability you have.
I mean, anybody can get sick, you know.
Sure. Yeah. You know what? You're so right on that. We don't even know if we'll be alive tomorrow. We have no idea.
Anybody can get sick. So
yeah. Apparently I need to go to Dublin, right?
No, yeah, exactly. Good.
I need to go to a pub.
Exactly. Have a few Guinnesses.
Sounds good to me.
I guess on another side as well, I've learned a lot about disabilities from Mick.
Yeah, what have you learned?
Well, you know the term ableism, and you hear that term
Yes.
being used a lot. I honestly wouldn't have thought about ramps and access if I hadn't have met Mike. You know,
Yeah.
that's just me being honest. I don't mean that in an ignorant way. I just mean I would have walked in somewhere and never have said to myself, "Oh, there's 3 steps."
Like privilege, you know, like having like the privilege of having legs and not even being aware that you can just easily walk into a building. And the more when you're with somebody, you're with a disability, you become more aware of the other injustices that people go through.
Yes,
that
100%.
makes you a more compassionate person and a more loving person. That's beautiful.
Compassion is the biggest thing. You know, and that's kind of why the struggle as wheel was set up in the first place, because I guess for my own selfish reasons is associative discrimination. So if you're going to prevent Michael from getting into a place, well, I'm not going to go in and tell him to wait outside. You're discriminating against me as well. So all that built up anger and frustration, and that's why we decided to set it up to show kind of positives and negatives of accessibility in Ireland. But the positive as well is learning. You know, I learned a lot from the disability community.
Sure.
Just on Twitter, you know, even just taking the time to read people's tweets about what they've experienced. And you know, we need more allies in this field.
What is your Twitter? I need to follow you on Twitter.
Twitter again is just struggle is wheel.
Struggle is wheel.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so I mean, we try and keep it positive, but if we see anything that's kind of ableist or relates to us in an Irish context, we will talk about it, you know. So yeah, I've learned a lot from I guess meeting someone with a spinal cord injury. You know, you learn a lot.
You learn to appreciate life more too, right?
Yeah, I've noticed Mick has a more of a stronger mindset than me. Yeah, stronger mindset. I know you had a lot of surgeries. You know, so Mick, yeah, you just have a stronger mindset. You know, you were in rehab for 6 months.
6 months, yeah. Well, I suppose I had to learn myself about, you know, ableism. Even maybe I was probably ableist myself before I acquired disability. So
right,
you come at it from both angles. You know, sometimes you think, oh yeah, I didn't think about that beforehand, and you can easily see how things don't get done then if you have that mindset. But I suppose it's up to the disabled community then just to get, as hard as it is, and probably shouldn't be this, but disabled community probably have to just get their point of view out there that little bit louder, just to get things.
I agree with you. Thank you so much for having that Instagram, and thank you so much for having that Twitter. I think that more people need to open and not be ashamed of their disabilities and embrace it, because we open doors for other people as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. I mean, also, was it WAGs of SCI, Wives and Girlfriends with Spinal Cord Injury, WAGs of SCI, they're from Canada, and they set up a similar idea just to show partners from around the world who you know, who have a spinal cord injury in the family and the dating scene and all that. So it's very topical, like, you know.
The power of social media.
Yeah.
I would totally. I mean, I always say I would date a girl in a wheelchair. I would date a girl with no limbs or whatever. It's really the soul, you know, it's the energy, it's the connection that you have with somebody. It's the love that's the most purest thing that you can't destroy.
Yeah, and the rest you'll work out.
Absolutely. Also, you two are awesome. So I have one more question, and thank you again for your time. And this question goes for either one of you. So my last question, if you could make a universal law for humanity to follow, what would it be?
Oh my God, a universal law for humanity to follow.
Treat everyone equal.
Yes.
I mean, we mentioned compassion, so
yes.
The world is lacking in empathy and compassion. I don't know how to translate that into a legal act, but yeah.
Just don't be a prick, huh?
Yeah. In layman's terms.
Don't be a prick or you'll get a ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
Be more understanding. I mean, life is not black and white. It's great.
But the thing about disability is, though, I know firsthand, it can happen to anyone in any given moment of time. You know, you go on your front door and you walk on your street and someone mows you over with a car. Well, you're going to be disabled in some shape or form, I'm sure. You know, so it can happen to anyone.
Absolutely, which is why it's really important to live your life as virtuous and as positive and as easygoing, flexible, loving. Just light up yourself, and other people will light up with you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely think that, because if you're not convinced by that, if you hang around somebody who's quite negative, ask yourself how you feel around them in a day or two, because that negative energy can drag you down. Everybody knows somebody. She's real nice, but she's after 5 minutes it's like, oh, shut down. So if that happens in a negative way, then the same thing happens in a positive. If you hang around with people that are positive, they're going to bring you up.
Absolutely. No need for that dark energy.
Yeah, and I hope people, especially with Twitter, I'd like to see people disagree more in a respectful way. I think
there's a lot of anger going on in Twitter. They need some anger management. That's for sure.
Yeah, just to be a bit more understanding, I think, and compassion and empathy, you know. But I don't know how to translate that into an actual law. I'll have to get back to you on that. But
absolutely. Well, I look really forward to hopefully having the both of you on my show in the near future. And if I go to Ireland, I'm gonna hit you up.
Yeah, definitely. And we will definitely go back to Amigos for some margaritas.
Yeah, come over to Pasadena. We'll go have a margarita. Oh my goodness. One margarita is all you need. I really learned so much from this interview. I learned that compassion and love has no true boundaries, really. It's all together. Compassion and love is one thing. And the both of you are sharing that beautifully. Thank you so much for sharing that with me on the show. I really appreciate your energy. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
The feedback.
Yeah.
So that ends this show, and I'm gonna go ahead and start following you on Twitter at The Struggle Is Real, and I'll reach out to you guys in the near future. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Dr. Lino.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. I've got Finland, Ireland, Scotland. Yeah, and I always wondered why my mom was blonde, white with hazel eyes, you know, and so it's all on her side. Yeah, so I'm really...
Viking.
What's that?
You're a Viking.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, because the Vikings would have, like, so obviously you said Sweden, Norway. The Vikings would have come down and raided into Ireland, not to get too history or anything kind of, but so we have a lot of Viking blood. Like, I have Norway blood in me as well.
We both did DNA Ancestry. Is that the test you
did?
That's
the one I did. Ancestry.com. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah. So I'm Scottish, Irish, English. What else? So what are you?
I'm Norway, Irish,
French. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a little French too, and obviously I've got a lot of Spanish. So I'm gonna go to Spain too, but I really want to go to Ireland first. You know what I've been watching on Netflix? I started watching Outlander. Have you watched it?
No, it's on our list. Definitely. Yeah.
It's really good. I won't give it away.
The Big Bang.
Yeah, that's in Pasadena.
Oh, The Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory.
Yes, it is. The Big Bang Theory was filmed here.
Yeah, I love Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, yeah, like walking distance from here. That's so funny.
Do you ever see any of the guys walking around? No.
Oh,
when they're filming.
Yeah, they're always filming stuff over here. That's how it is over here. Well, you know, I can't wait to go to Ireland. I'm so glad that I met you guys.
No problem.
Yeah.
You have a good evening now, and let's keep in touch.
Same to you.
Have a lovely evening now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.